to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast.
Okay, welcome back to the Warzone Amateur Hour podcast. Tron here on the mic. Got the 10-inch cowboy at my side, literally and figuratively. Well, just figuratively, but here he is. Cowboy, how was your week in the Warzone?
Yeah, I'm actually not technically by your side, but mentally I'm by your side. A lot of the time too. It was good. I had a good week. Started off fantastic. You and I had some great games this week, and then the last 48 hours was pretty dog shit. Not gonna lie, not playing my best. My long range, short range, not really landing. Just really not winning any gulags. So right now, personally, I'm in a bad place. How was your week?
Well, you did have, I guess, overall, you had a lot of losses, let's call it, but there were some highlights in there, particularly what we just saw, which you failed to clip, unfortunately for our listeners. But trust me when I say you hit an individual that had parachuted out. I mean, he was diving, I think, out of a helicopter. You hit him with the fucking Strela.
He wasn't even parachuting. Yeah, I rocket sniped someone jumping out of a chopper from distance. I was aiming for the chopper, but I think he just jumped in front of the missile. I technically headshotted him, direct hit with the Strela, which was pretty incredible. Definitely one of the most insane shots I've ever had with the Strela. I mean, it was a totally luck, I mean, I'd love to say that I was pinpoint trying to shoot the guy diving out of a chopper, but it was just a luck thing.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that was great. And to be honest, as I'm sure we're going to talk about, I had quite the week with the Strela. I wanted to get back to my roots. I'd found my long-range game was not doing very hot. I don't know what was going on. Maybe I didn't have the focus. This week was just off long-range-wise. So I went back to my roots and I started messing with the Strela again. And I had, to toot my own horn, the best single Verdansk performance I've ever had in my history of playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
I had 8 kills in one quad match. 8 kills, pretty good for your boy. 8 kills, which included a quad kill with the Strela, taking out an entire team in a car, which was it was a special moment. It was really, really great. You were there for it.
I was there. Special moment indeed. And fortunately for our audience, you did clip that one. It is currently up on our YouTube page. No joke. Real amateur stuff here. Quad feed. Late circle action, just to take you through it for those who haven't seen it. That stupid car full of people decided to, turn around the back of the gas station where you were serendipitously waiting with the Strela at your side. I believe you even said out loud, turn the corner, and they did. You exploded them. I think you were shocked, though, after that, because you didn't, immediately start killing them,
Yeah. Well, I've never, done that before. So when I destroyed the vehicle, they're all downed laying there. So then, my amateur instinct is oh my God, I still have to kill these guys. They're going to kill me even though they're down. So I had to go clean up 4 guys on the ground. They were all, self-reviving. But got them done. Got it. Watched the clip. It was great. Very exciting stuff. But yeah, the Strela, God, I've had such a good week with it. It's actually, I talked about this early on in the podcast with the Pila and how much I loved it. And you can really be a force in a quad or a trio with the rocket launcher. The Strela, it's really fun to play with because you're basically just shooting Hail Marys every time. It's oh, there's a team 300 meters away and there's 4 of them. It's well, shit, I might as well just send a rocket out there. Who knows what's going to happen? And surprising, more than you think, you do get it done. It kill people. A lot of the time it fucking works and it's really fun. So it's not the most, it's not a skilled weapon. I guess there is definitely some skill to it, but God, it's been fun. That's been a highlight of my week.
What I'm discovering is, a lot of times when you're fighting in a team configuration, there's so many times you'll get shots on a guy, you'll crack a guy, they'll now move around the corner or they'll bunker down and, they'll hide behind the window now where you were just shooting and you're like, fuck, they're cracked in there. Nobody else is going to get there. But if you got a Strela, man, they'll just launch that shit in there, and the damage is just so broad. I think it's really effective, can be for finishing off either, downing people to get them down, or if they're already down, wiping them off the fucking map. But yeah, exciting stuff. I think another, pro tip for the people out there rocking the launchers, the amateurs in the world of Warzone, doing the duty, is ask your teammates. You guys got any rockets? Because you're usually going to find most people just accidentally pick some up. So those can be in short supply. But if you got teammates, they'll be glad to supply you. They're like, yeah, man, take my fucking rockets,
Everyone has rockets all the time. Yeah, like whenever you're low on rockets, you ask the team. People always have them. Oh, I have one, I have two, sometimes they have 5. A lot of rockets going around. So it's an interesting point, though, that you bring it up, because late in the game, if you have your Strela and the rockets are not aplenty and you're stuck with that, that can be a pretty shitty situation. Your secondary basically is useless because you got like one rocket. If you're out of rockets, it's like, that happens a lot late in the game, so you got to be on top of your ammunition for that thing. I think more than other weapons, because it's so much rare. You're not gonna like. It's just so much more rare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So towards late in the game, you got to be on top of it. But man, if you get a muni box and your loadout right off the top, and that's the best part. You get Ghost, you got your Strela, you got your whatever. I usually roll FFAR now. I got the FFAR, I got the Strela, I got 6 rockets in the bag. I am ready to blow some shit up.
Yes. Certainly you were this week because, very much showcasing the duality of man, the 10-inch Cowboy was this week, because we had that the highs there with the personal best 8-kill match, quad feed, destruction, and then in the same, maybe not exact session, but I think the same day, playing as a duo, also up on our YouTube for those who want to check this video out, is you kill a guy in a roof, and then you hear his buddy below you. So what do? You pull out your frag grenade, and I'm watching you spectating dead. All transparency here, and you're cooking that thing. You're holding the grenade. I'm like, oh, he's really timing this. And just as I'm telling you, you might want to throw it. What happens? It explodes. You kill yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if maybe you can give us like a play-by-play. Take us inside the mind of the 10-inch Cowboy. Break that down for us.
I mean, honestly, okay, what happened was kill a guy upstairs in this building. I hear his buddy down below, and we're having like a standoff at the stairs, right? I know he's waiting to come, so I pull out my frag, and I'm just waiting for the moment, and then I hear him, I think, run away. So I'm thinking, oh, he went outside, so I'm going to throw this grenade out the window. So I turn to go to the window, but then for so many times I've thrown grenades and they clip a wall and they come right back at you. So I'm really thinking I got to get it out the window or it's going to kill me. So I'm looking at the window trying to aim it up. And at that point, I couldn't pull the trigger. I got the yips and I froze, dude. I just freeze and it blew me up. I just froze. What else do you want me to say? I froze with the frag. Because I was afraid it was going to bounce off the edge of the window, and it killed me. It was, some people watched that and were like, oh, dude, yeah, everyone learns that the hard way. You pull the pin if you don't throw it in time. And I was like, no, I know that happens. I just fucking didn't throw it. I froze like a coward.
Yeah, you've taken us through it before previously on the podcast. This is not the first time you have fragmented yourself with a frag grenade. It was incredible to watch. Really made my day. I wasn't doing that great in the Warzone, but that really uplifted me. I hope you guys feel the same.
You laughed. If anyone wants to hear Tron's like a genuine laugh, watch that video. You lost it for like 10 minutes after that. You were just belly laughing. You loved watching me fail like that.
It was an injection of just amateurism that I had been missing, that I needed, so I was glad about that. Those were, though, the big events for us this week in the Warzone. Myself, personally, really getting a hang for that sniper. I mean, just before we got off, I had a moving heli kill. That was cool.
You have been playing better with the sniper. Your long game has improved.
I've started to discover, last week we talked about, the trigger discipline. Combining that, I've really found what you do is you line up with the head level and then you kind of let off the right stick. You kind of use your left stick to align the shots. It's really been working for me, that. But, we've gone off on the car quite a bit. It's obviously the meta right now seems pretty open and closed. It's like the AUG/Car 98 and then the FFAR. I know previously I had shied away from the FFAR. I was trying to do the RAM. I've gone back to it. I've realized you're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you are not rocking the FFAR right now, because it is the de facto weapon from 30 meters in. Nothing can touch it.
Yeah, it's what I'm rolling. I want to experiment with other things, but I have a hard enough time with leveled metas. You know what I mean? So why even try something else?
But I feel like in terms of meta balancing, we are like so close to one of the perhaps most balanced weapon statuses of Warzone. Like if they just give this AUG a slight nerf and maybe the FFAR too, then I think we're looking at like an incredible wide range of weapons because people are still branching out.
Oh, a lot of branching. When you actually do get kills and you are checking people's loots, there's a lot of FARs, a lot of cars, and a lot of AUGs. But there's also some wild other shit. Like people are experimenting these days. It's pretty refreshing.
Yeah, I love to see it. I love, as we said, I like being killed by a variety of things. Give me that joy.
Yeah.
But that said, the big changes here for Warzone this week were, I say big, I don't know, figuratively there because they certainly weren't literally, but the zombies have now migrated. At first, it was the shipwreck, and we had theorized that, okay, they're going to just start growing, populating new areas. No, not the case. They left the shipwreck. They're just like, you know what? I was hanging out in the shipwreck. I'm going to fucking move on to prison. So now that little zombie activation device is in the gulag. Heads up for those who want to do it. You got to go down a few floors in prison, activate them. That's now the zombie area of the game. It seems like completely useless at this point. What are your thoughts on this new like zombie thing they're doing here in season 2?
It's fucking stupid. The party moved across the street, so now it's at prison, which it's even, I think, worse at prison because who goes in the gulag of prison? Like, it's like, I don't go down there very often, ever. Like, and it's just like, unless you got to get something from a scavvy or a recon or like there's a reason to go down there, I'm not finding myself down there. So why would you go down there intentionally, start the zombies? And it's like, and then you're down there. And then when the circle isn't inclusive of the prison on that first gas, you got to get out of prison so quickly. It's just stupid. It would have been better if they moved it to like, I mean, it's stupid just to move it around from spot to spot in my mind.
Yes.
That's the real issue. But it would have been cooler of them if they would have put it at say Superstore or something more central, something where like, I don't know. It just seems weird being on the fringe. It like didn't change that much. It went to fucking prison. It's like it's like 150 meters away from where it used to be.
I mean, and we talk about, storytelling. We talk about consistency. I don't know what fucking rules they're running by here again. Like zombies don't just like migrate. All right. They infect more individuals and grow exponentially in size. That is how like a zombie outbreak. I mean, that's how we're living through a fucking pandemic the last year.
It's 101. Zombies 101.
Like get your shit right with, epidemiology. Yeah.
Virus is spreading. Yeah.
Because I think that original theory we had, like, oh, they're just going to grow and grow until literally everywhere you go on Verdansk at the end of the season is zombie infested. Like, I'll take that. It'd probably be a pain in the ass. I'm sure I'd die a fuck ton more.
Yes.
But at least, like, it would be cool. It'd be visceral. It would be like, oh, wow, this is new. Now it's literally, it's the same old fucking Verdansk. Because, yeah, I've dropped in every day this week. I haven't encountered the zombies once in prison. I activated the thing literally once, like you said, but we had to book it the fuck out of there because the gas was coming in. So that's our big change. That's our big treat we have thrown to us here.
And I would have liked that. I think that would have been fun and new and different. Like, I'm sure there would have been haters and complainers out there if the zombie infection spread and over the next couple of weeks, it was just like zombies started to appear in thicker and thicker, denser batches all across the map, leading up to a point in which there are zombies everywhere, which would have created some really interesting gameplay situations. And then they had to nuke the map.
Yeah, I think what could have been really cool is to make a really aggressive type of game mode where, when you hunker in a house, like the zombies are naturally drawn to houses or something. So people can't camp buildings, they can't camp roofs because they start flooding up the stairs. Maybe even they learn how to use the fucking zip line. I'll roll with that.
That's cool. I like that idea.
So I don't know. They're still hyping it up. Like that's the kind of embarrassing part is like these Warzone people on Twitter and stuff are like, oh, new news report, they've moved. And it's like, nobody's into it right now, man. We need more.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing, I guess. It's embarrassing. And the real, when is the new map coming? That's like all that anyone real is talking about that plays this game is when is the real map coming? Because it's getting a little stale a little bit. A little bit of staleness happening right now.
Yeah, it looks like April. So I'm sure we'll see lots of shakeups there. We'll see how it goes. But that said, in terms of weapon discoveries, in terms of figuring out these new attachment fixes, the the Warzone kind of data analyst, streamer guy, exclusive ace this week, he did a deep dive into Cold War magazines, or clips, if you prefer to call them that. And some interesting discoveries here that your boy Tron wanted to share with our listeners. Essentially, the overall findings were this. On all the magazines, when you go to check the different options, there's typically 6 options, and they all kind of are listed in the same order for Cold War guns. Well, what he found was the descriptions for the first 5 are usually pretty accurate. But that 6th and final one, the last one you unlock, which usually like is the most illustrious clip magazine option, those are usually fucking incorrect.
Interesting.
So, for the FFAR, for example, that 50 round speed mag, that's the final one you can unlock. And it tells you that it hurts your ADS time. But he tested it and found out that's not fucking true. It's the best mag in the game. So if you're running the FFAR, don't be afraid of that speed mag. It has the most ammo. It does provide a little bit faster reload, and there's literally no downside. But then on the flip side, the fucking Mac 10, it's all fucked up. Like the 6th one is the speed mag, but that one really kills your ADS. So the takeaway here for your boy Tron, you know, you're wondering like, how does this matter to me? What does this mean? The basic gist is this. Other than the FFAR and M16, you want to pretty much avoid the final magazine option on Cold War guns. That's it.
Okay. M16, FFAR, go with the 6th spot. Other than that, not good.
Are you rocking that speed mag on the FFAR?
I don't think I am. I didn't know about this. This is news to me as well. So I think I need to adjust that. I guess I need to adjust that. Typically, though, I'm not. If I'm getting to a point in which I'm rolling through 50 rounds in a fight, I'm dead by that point. So, you know, like reload speed doesn't typically affect me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I go through 50 rounds on one person easy, especially with the FFAR. It's just so quickly firing, and I'm spraying all over, trying to corral that thing. Good stuff. It seems like, yeah, the Mac 10's really falling hard. It's really AUG. That AUG fucks people up.
Dude, the AUG is some serious power. It is, I die so fast when I get killed by the AUG. It's fucked up. And you watch good players, like you watch streamers play with it. It is incredible how quickly it kills people. You know, you just get that 3-shot burst to the head. It's over. It's just over. Just done, you know?
Yeah.
Especially, I watch people throw stopping rounds on that. Stopping power.
Oh.
It's a fucking joke. It's a total joke. It's a total joke. And it's a bummer because I hate burst fire weapons. I hate them. I cannot play with them.
You also said, I remember, that, you know, you don't like the look of it. Is that still affecting you, kind of deterring you from going with that?
Yeah, it's got like a big forehead to it. It's just not for me. It's not for me. And I like an aerodynamic weapon. You know what I'm saying? It's not very aerodynamic.
The gun has a forehead. Okay.
You know what I mean. People out there know. They know.
I mean, speaking about guns and visuals, one thing I've noticed is kind of weird is when you're playing in the Warzone in your first person view and you have the FFAR, it seems like a pretty compact weapon, right?
Yes.
But then when you're in the waiting room, the lobby, and you can see your little character walking down the street, it looks like it's fucking massive. Like it's like one of these elephant rifles they use in the fucking safari, dude, to take like a buffalo down, or I guess not a buffalo, I guess a lion, whatever, from like 200 yards, dude. It looks absolutely fucking massive. I don't even know if it's a real gun in the real life, but I don't know. I just wanted to touch on that. Okay, new topic though here. Okay, so the blueprints. I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. All the blueprints they give you. I have literally hundreds and hundreds of fucking blueprints I've unlocked. But the issue is I don't know what the gun is they are.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we have not talked about this before. I'm so glad you brought this up. I think it's one of the biggest fucking communication errors they've ever done. Why isn't there a name associated with the goddamn blueprint they're telling you just unlocked? I have literally no idea what any of it means.
Yes, your reaction was very much the same as my teammates. It's like, dude, I don't like, it'll show you the pistol. You're like, you think I fucking memorized like the little thumbnail of this pistol? And then they'll sometimes be like assault rifle Bravo. And I'm like, I don't know what
why do they do that? I totally agree.
Can you just tell me this is a fucking blueprint for the FFAR instead of Arid Constrictor and like all this shit thrown on it?
I hate those Bravo and Alpha. It's like Sniper Alpha. It's like, okay, thanks.
I don't know. Maybe there's like a hidden fucking menu or button I click to reveal that info, but I certainly don't know it.
Wait, do you have an answer, or are you just bringing this up?
No, I'm just riffing, baby. I'm just...
Oh, shit. I thought there was... Oh, God damn it. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, we agree. It's stupid.
Yeah, this is a problem I have not yet solved. It's an odyssey I'm currently undergoing.
If anybody has an answer, please let us know.
Yes, please let us know. Or if, the Call of Duty people are out there, just literally put the text on there like Mac 10 blueprint. Oh, great. Now I know that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I can make use of this thing. Or maybe I'll consider using that gun. But as it stands now, half that shit, I don't know what it does. Glad I got to bring that up. I hope the struggle is real out there.
I'm sure people are going to relate to that 100%, because as soon as you brought it up, I knew what you were talking about.
Throw me a bone here. I'll chew on that for hours, all right?
Throw us a fucking bone.
So yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I know we've talked about, recently our victories have kind of been rarity.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping to maybe remedy that. I was like, all right, I need to take a step back here. Maybe we get a little strategic. So I started, you learn from the best. So I went and looked like who are the leaders in victories. And we all know this guy Iron is like, I think he might be number one now, or he's definitely top 3 all time, thousands and thousands of wins. So I went and watched one of his streams for like a little bit, fast forwarded through it. And he has a fucking interesting strategy that he does that was really unique. Some would say, cowardly. Others would say smart. It really depends what you're playing for. But this man is only playing for victories. And essentially what he does is at the start of the map, him and his teammates, they all try and grab helis. And then they just try and bang out as many fucking recon contracts that are outside of the circle as they can. Get their loadout.
Why outside the circle? Safer? Presumably safer?
I think, yeah, because, especially when the gas starts moving way outside in that first circle, everyone's priority at that point is to get to safety because the gas is moving so quickly. They know they don't have to worry about that with the helis. So they'll get like 5, 6, sometimes maybe even like 7 recons in that time.
So they know exactly where the fucking thing's going.
Exactly. So that's like the early game, all right? Then they're all kitted up. They got their shit. And interestingly enough, he rocks, I think it was like the FFAR or the M4 and then the HDR. He's not using the car. He's going for the longer range item. Then they they figure out, okay, where's our best position going to be now that they can see like 6 circles ahead? They go migrate that way. At some point, they transition from the fucking helis to Berthas. And then they essentially just kind of camp up there and wait. And I watched him play like 3 games. He won, I think, 2 of them and got really close with the other one. So long story short, interesting strategy. You and I tried it. Maybe take our listeners through how that worked out.
We did try it, yeah. And to be honest, we used to do this a while ago, you and I. This was a tactic of ours. I like choppers. I like using the vehicles of the game. You were always very resistant to the vehicles. But so we've tried this before, and it has given us some success. Getting recons early on, identifying where it's going to be, and then playing a little bit slower of a game as opposed to running and gunning, which obviously isn't our strength. So this bodes well for us, this gameplay style. And yeah, we had it. Well, this was actually, I believe this was the session we had after you had come up with the idea, oh, 10InchCowboy, let's try this. So we tried it, got the recons, got the choppers, and we had some great games. We didn't get any wins, but we definitely had some late game like sessions that were really fun and where we positioned ourselves correctly. It wasn't too stressful. We weren't like trying to get each other back the entire time. We slow played it, picking off kills here and there. We were playing with some cars. So we had some those were those games, right? If I'm remembering this correctly, and they were really fun.
I don't know what you're recalling because no, when we tried this, we got fucking destroyed.
Oh, I was recalling. Remember, we were above quarry, and we were looking down.
Yeah, that was when we kind of abandoned the strategy. We just fucking ended up there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you're an amateur out there struggling for wins, as I'm sure we all are, maybe give it a try. I think, again, we were doing it in duos, which I think makes it a little difficult because there's just so many more teams, whereas I know Iron usually plays trios or quads, lessen that out a little bit. But he had an interesting quote, which I'm curious to kind of hear your thoughts on. He said on his stream, I think quote for quote, he's like, if you get 30 kills in second place, that's still a loss, dog. So what do you think about that?
If I got 30 kills, I would celebrate like it's 1999. 30 kills is, I don't know if I'd ever play the game again. I'd just walk away at that point. I would just walk away. I'd never play again.
So you disagree with that sentiment then, it sounds like.
I completely disagree with that. Completely disagree with that.
Because, albeit he is getting the wins, but if you look at the kill totals at the end of the game, a lot of them it's like 2, sometimes 3, sometimes fewer. So I think it's just an interesting viewpoint to take. As it stands, I don't think we really play one way or the other. We're just trying to fucking survive.
Yes.
But always trying to illuminate, new play styles, new perspectives here for the Warzone Amateur Hour listeners out there.
Well, that's what's so great about this game is that, we talk about weapons, we talk about updates, we talk about whatever. The strategy of Warzone is such a personal thing. Some people love to do scabbies. Some people love to do recons and know exactly where it's going to go. Some people like to camp. Some people like to, rip it and grip it and shred it. And there's an infinite amount of ways to play the game. And maybe strategy is something we should talk about more often. I think that was pretty proactive and impressive work on your part.
Well, you touched on it, though. I think well said is there's just so many strategies and play styles within this game, and that's what makes it wonderful. And we've seen that when we've played with listeners out there is they'll say to us, what kind of play, how do you guys like to start? Because the starting game in itself, that's a game strategy. It's like fucking chess a little bit, like what opening are you playing here? I don't know much about chess beyond like opening is a thing in it. So don't, start throwing shit at me there. But I think it's cool. I think that's one thing that Warzone does have going for it is there's such a level of complexity. There's such a variety of things that you really, every player's unique.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
All right. Well, we've touched on how our performance has suffered in the Warzone because we're not so good. One thing I wanted to perhaps talk about, as we've mentioned, benefits of keyboard versus controller, is there are some upgrades available specifically for controller players. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Have you heard of these things called control freaks?
Control freaks as in like a freak in the sheets freak, control freak?
Well, that's the brand name, but I believe they spell them Freek. And essentially what they are these little thumbsticks that clip on top of your controller thumbsticks, and they can provide extra grip. Some are concave and some are like dome shaped because some players just like prefer that. Some are more elevated so that they give you like a more of a, like you're using almost a joystick you're maneuvering around. But essentially they allow for more tactical control. And you may not know this, but your boy Tron actually rocks one here on his PS4 controller.
Do you really? What's really fascinating is that as you're describing this, I'm making this connection. As listeners may or may not know, I wasn't really a video game person before Warzone had come out and the pandemic started. And actually, an old friend of mine from college started a company called Joy Tops. And he makes and sells, and they've gotten pretty big, I think. They make these little tiny button controllers for Xbox and PlayStation for the thumbsticks, or I don't know what the...
Sounds like it's essentially the same product, just a different brand, man. You should reach out there.
Yeah, his name is Joy Tops. Well, that's the name of the company, and they're awesome. They got a ton of shit. They've been around for years, too. Maybe I'll ask him to send us a box of that so we can test it and let the podcast people know. But no, I haven't made the connection since I started playing Warzone about these things. I'd like to try them. I didn't know you used them. I feel like you're cheating on me. How are you not telling me this shit?
I don't know. I just never had the chance to bring it up that I'm using a little bit of a performance enhancer here.
This relationship is based off of transparency. If you're not going to be open and honest with me about what you're using when we are playing together, then I don't know what this relationship is. You need to tell me this shit.
Well, I'm coming clean now.
Wow. How long have you been using that?
I think as long as we've been doing this podcast, maybe.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? You're just telling me this?
Yeah. So I think it was a friend of ours recommended them, and I'd seen other people talking about them. There's a bunch of different models. I did some research. I've essentially found it seems like the Control Freak Galaxy are the one I went with. I think they're the originals. They're the low. I like the low profile one. I don't have the high one. It's sitting on standby. So if you want to try that, I actually have it ready for you. But so that's one option though, these Control Freaks things, because I found my right stick was kind of sliding off the grip a lot. You know, I kind of got greasy hands as it is. So this has helped me. I'm a fan of it. The cool part is you can swap them if you have multiple controllers you're charging. You swap them in and out. They're not some bullshit, you know, glue them on type of thing. But they also have these things now called control rings. Do you have any idea what those do?
I do not know.
Yep, figured that.
Yeah, all I know about, you know, like whatever you'd call them, performance enhancers that you've been cheating on me with the side with. I've remembered Joy Tops, which are obviously the thumb things, and I've heard of the paddles. Still not clear on what paddles actually do, but I'm sure that you'll explain that as well.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. But first off, there's also these control rings. These ones I have not checked out. But essentially, they're these tiny little foam rings that you slide on top of your thumbstick. And what they do is they kind of cushion it. So they provide a bit more resistance, which I guess helps people kind of fine tune their aim a little.
I love it.
I've heard a lot of positive feedback. They have like different kind of gradients, like they have low resistance, medium resistance, and now I think high. It's just kind of the thickness of the material they use. So I haven't tried those. Might check them out. If your, you know, buddy has those on tap, let's give them a fucking go. But the final, and these are all fairly cheap. I think the Control Freaks were like $14. These other rings are perhaps even cheaper. But if you want to go big, the big one that the pros all use are these Scuff like pro controllers. And you touched on paddles. So what paddles do are they're just essentially additional button mapping options. So they're little on the back of the controller. Instead of having to like touch one of the buttons on the face, instead you can just kind of reach around and you can assign that to something. So people will use like that'll be reload or that'll be their slide button. So they're getting fucking like crazy with their fingers doing more than one thing on the controller. I guess they have like lower latency, I think some of them. So that's like the bigger option. I definitely don't have those, so don't be worried there, buddy.
I'll never trust you again. I can't believe that we're having this conversation 15 episodes into the show. You're using this shit, but that's exciting. I'll have to reach out to my buddy at Joy Tops. Maybe he can send us a couple. Maybe they have some custom. Maybe they can make us some custom shit. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a line of Warzone Amateur Hour Joy Top tops. Baby, we'll see what happens.
Well, I do have one more announcement here for the casts. A little scared to say so, but I got some big upgrades on the horizon here this week. Tron was officially able to secure himself a PlayStation 5.
Wow.
So I'm going to be moving on up to the current gen. As I said, I got the stock PS4. It's been by my side for fucking years. You know, we've been through it all together. We've been in Verdansk, got my first victories. But that PS5 upgrade's on the horizon, which I think is going to be an interesting dynamic, especially when we're playing together. I'm on one, you're on the other. Are you on the lookout for one yourself?
I've never bought a gaming console in my entire life. Let me just put that out there. I am now invested in Warzone.
Well, you should explain. Let's back up. Explain how then you got the one you're playing on.
A friend that also wasn't a game person received a PS4 years back from his father, which was hilarious, and he never used it. So he said I could have it. So he gifted me and gave me his PS4.
Okay.
I sat on that PS4 for 2 or 3 years. 2 years probably, without even touching it or playing it. And then when the pandemic hit, all of my old high school friends were like, yeah, we're playing the Warzone. You should hop on. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And that's how this all started, was a gifted PS4. So now, of course, times have changed. The PS5 is on the horizon. You know, as we've talked about, Tron and I are both cinematic fellows. We enjoy the technical aspects of good visuals. And the PS5 is a 4K. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? It's a different ball game. It projects better. It's a better quality, better this, better that. You can export 4K video clips. So when you watch me, blowing up a frag while it's still holding in my hand, you could see that in 4K if I had the PS5, right?
That's right, baby. It's a whole new ball game. 4K resolution, frame rates of up to 120 per second there, unlocking just the new world. You're moving closer to that tier of the PC players. But that's really the point I wanted to touch on. Is I'm a little bit scared here, because it's like when this PS5 comes, I log in with the Warzone. The bar's gonna be fucking raised, dude. And I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to deliver, dude. And if I go in with the PS5 and I get killed really bad, oh, it's going to be fucking bad, all right? So it's like I had this excuse with the PS4. That's going to be gone with the PS5 if I get smacked around. Where do I run to?
I don't know, but man up, dude. Just go play. And if you suck, you suck. We host a podcast about being shitty at Warzone. Like, what are you worried about expectations? Come on. Like, no one gives a shit.
Well, does this upgrade now? Like, am I no longer an amateur? Like, am I a sweat lord?
No. You're still very, very much an amateur.
Okay.
You can take the shitty player off the console, but you can't take the shitty player out of his soul.
Yes, shitty player out of his soul. Never, ever happening. But speaking of shitty players, speaking of gameplay clips, sharing spectacular failures with the Amateur Hour community, we're looking to do just that. As we've said, we got some big stuff lined up for the Warzone Amateur Hour. Well, this week, we're soliciting calls here. You know, put out the fucking dinner bell or whatever it is, the alarm.
Oh, this is exciting. I'm excited about this. Yeah, this is going to be good.
That we're looking for you, the listeners, if you're out there, we want you to go ahead, if you can, submit your best amateur moments in Warzone. You know, times where you went from extreme highs to lows in a flash of an instant, or just those extreme lows on their own.
Yeah. So basically, Tron and I did this a couple weeks back. We had a gameplay clip with both of us doing something insanely stupid, Tron doing something insanely stupid, and we commentated over it, and it was actually really fun, and we had a good time doing it. And what we want to do consistently is do this for people that listen to the podcast. Like, we will commentate, blind commentate over a gameplay clip that you send us. And it's something that would be fun. You can share with your friends, and we actually have a really fun time doing it. But there's a couple of notes. Don't do it. Don't send us a gameplay clip with language that is, worse than anything that we say on this podcast. Although that we do not have the cleanest mouths in the world, please show a little restraint in what you send us. And also, we're not looking for like incredible gameplay. We're not looking for, there's streamers out there that play fantastic. We're looking for the shit that you don't see on the streams, like the worst epic failures of all time. We're looking for horrible deaths and team wipes that you are a part of, that we can laugh at and point the finger and make fun of you for. That's what we're looking for. So don't send us like a quad kill that's super cool, well, please do. If it's really cool, we'll see it, but we're probably not going to commentate over it.
I mean, yeah, caveat there. If you have the quad kill, let's say you murk people, and then while you're looting them, like the Bertha rolls back and kills you, great.
Yes.
No 360, no scopes, but if you're jumping off a building to save your buddy, you break your legs, love it. Like you said, yeah, we're going to go ahead, parse through what we get, probably take a week or two, pick out the best, maybe multiple, and we're going to do a little breakdown, put it up on our YouTube, and just hopefully keep this as a little running thing. So, if you're out in Verdansk, make the most of these failures, send them in, let's share them with the world, baby, because we can brighten it up.
Also, don't send us a 35-minute clip, please. Make sure it's like, maybe like a, couple minutes, or like a moment or a couple minutes. We don't,
Well, you're really putting the rubric out there, Professor Cowboy.
I'm just letting people know. I'm anticipating a very large response to this, and actually, whatever. Send us whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. We're gonna watch it anyway.
Well, speaking of response, we've had a lot of great response to our regiment launching this week. Excited stuff. It's already filling out. I think we got over 20-something, people and growing every week. To help make things easier for y'all out there, instead of having to just email us to get the information, we now have a blog post up on our website. If you go to our website, warzoneamateurhour.com, navigate to the news tab, you're going to see a little post that's called Instructions for How to Join the Regiment. That'll have our gamer tags on there. We'll make it happen. We're going to keep growing this thing. But the big news, not the big news, there was a big milestone this past week in the Warzone on March 10th. That officially marked the 1-year anniversary of Warzone. Can you believe this game has been going for a year now?
It's been I guess it's crazy it's been this long. And I'm still so bad at it. I guess that's the real issue that I'm realizing. So that's where I'm at. How are you?
Well, it's really flown by. It seems like just yesterday I was shitting myself in Verdansk. Now I'm shitting myself in Verdansk, on a daily basis. Made a lot of friends along the way, launched this podcast, and really changed. But that said, I'm curious If you have a recollection, what is your earliest Warzone memory? Do you remember your first game dropping in, what it was like?
I remember early on playing and not knowing the buttons and playing with friends of ours that were kind of chaperoning me around for dance. But I don't have a memory of like the first game. But I definitely remember like just being so bad. I remember being afraid of flying the helicopters. I was like, oh, there's no way I can do that. That's way beyond my skill level. Like, I cannot be the guy that flies the helicopter. That's how shitty and naive I was when I was a very, very young amateur.
That's funny. The chaperoning around, that is kind of my recollection. It was like, hey, we got a new guy with us. It's like, bringing the new dog around or something. We're like, here, come on over here. Get in here. Yeah, get this gun. Yeah. Okay, now give us your fucking money. Give us your fucking money. We got to buy the loadout.
Yeah.
And you're like, how do I drop money? But yeah, how the things have changed from that scared little street dog to a quad wiping Strela hound.
Yeah.
For me, I kind of vividly remember my first dropping in. Because back then, there was only one playlist configuration with Warzone. It was trios only. And I didn't have any fucking buddies on at that point. So I was like, I'm going to drop into this bitch by myself. So I dropped in solo into a trios. Ironically enough, I think in my first game, and you're going to think this is a fucking lie, I got like 7 kills. Because I was playing, I don't know if I was playing like too scared or not scared enough. But somehow I had a really great performance. I'm thinking, oh, this is the game for me. I don't think I ever fucking reached 7 kills again for like months, dude.
For months? You mean almost a year?
Yeah, probably. So it was a long time, hell of a time. But to commemorate that year in the Warzone, we received an amazing email this week that we're going to close out the episode with. I want to read it here. Pure poetry. It was submitted to us from a listener out in England, Berticus99. And I read, Tron, 10-inch cowboy. From Basingstoke in England, I wanted to say thanks for the podcast. I discovered it last week when I was close to retiring my console controller for good. I was getting rinsed in every type of Warzone game and had become disheartened. Battle Royale? Regularly one of the first 5 to 10 players in the Gulag, which I find impossible to escape from. Rebirth? I was trapped in a cycle of die, spawn, land, die in extreme version. Being cut in half as soon as my feet touched the ground, and sometimes even before that. Plunder? I could survive, but only if I landed on one of the remote areas of the map and spent the rest of the game running and hiding. I haven't even mentioned my penchant for self-inflicted deaths, forgetting to open my parachute, blowing up myself with a Semtex, and diving into the sea are 3 of my trademark moves. On the rare occasions when I do get a chance to return fire, my aim is so awful that I lose 90% of my head-to-heads, usually getting clipped by opponents armed only with pistols when I have an SMG or AR. So when I started listening, I could identify with your stories. It reassured me that for every J-God or Iceman Isaac, there are millions of us out there for whom every single kill is a special moment. And I'm glad I persevered. This week has brought a handful of Rebirth wins, usually carried by my teammates, but I'm slowly getting better at staying alive. So keep up the great work.
That is what it's all about. That's a great email.
That is what it's all about, man. Touched, maybe a little tear even crept in my eye because of the fact, this guy was out there. He was ready to give up. He thought these meta sweat lords out there on YouTube, that's the real player base. But then he discovered, man, they're not. Like we've always said, dude, there's so much shit out there for the Goliaths, but for the Davids, we're out there, dude. We're the silent majority. We're the fuel that runs the engine of the Warzone. So never give up, man. Stay with it. Find your niche. Figure out what fucking works for you and get those victories because we're all fucking cheering for you.
Yeah, I think we should get out of here on that note. That was great. That was beautiful. Beautiful way to end it.
That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you all so much for dropping into the Warzone Amateur Hour. If you haven't already, subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Get those game clips of failures saved and submitted to us. And check out our YouTube page for the videos we mentioned and some more stuff going on there. We'll talk to you next week. And until then,
good luck in the Gulag.
Good luck in the Gulag. Happy 1-year anniversary. Stay strong.
Later.